Welcome back. This video is purely driven off your feedback. These irons are not something that we carry in the Cool Clubs matrix, but it's definitely something you'll find at worldwide golf retail locations. So it's going to help you and your purchasing experience of Wilson irons. Now, we got 4 models we're looking at today. This video is all about helping you understand the Wilson iron family and what's for who and what they do. So we've got a couple of robot tests, 3 in this case. First robot test we've got is a 70-mile-an-hour test. We hit 4 degrees down for their DynaPwr irons. Right. We've got DynaPwr and then DynaPwr Max. Right. Then we're going to go to 90 miles an hour, 4 degrees down for the Staff models.
Which are basically a blade, yeah.
Blade and cavity. And then we've done an 80-mile-an-hour test for all 4 models.
To see how they all compare.
Let's see where they sit on the chart. So by the end of this, we should have covered a nice speed spectrum. We've got dispersion charts for you to look at. We've got all the numbers you're ever going to need. So stick with us to find out which Wilson iron is right for you. First things first, let's do DynaPwr Max in the robot, 70 miles an hour, and the Max is their higher lofted version. So let's call it an HL of the game improvement.
Yeah, they're probably more descriptive or more similar to other companies. Yeah, they call it, right?
Yeah.
So Max doesn't mean it's necessarily huge, much bigger. It just means it's got a little more loft to it, and probably a little different shape.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with a 70-mile-an-hour center hit, Glenn.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, 70 miles an hour, 95 ball speed. Now, there's an interesting thing around 100 mile an hour. Once the ball's not traveling at 100 mile an hour, the aerodynamics are severely impacted. It really isn't going anywhere. So loft is our friend under 100 ball speed. And we got 4,900 RPMs on that.
That's not bad at 70 miles an hour, right? I mean, so at least it's going to stop on a green to some extent.
Yep.
Some of these things get so jacked up in loft, especially these game improvement clubs, that they just don't stop.
Right.
And this is actually pretty good.
Yep, 132 yards, let's call it. Launching at 20 degrees with 4,900.
Yep.
Okay, let's stack this up against its stronger lofted sister.
Right.
Let's see what it does. So this is the stronger lofted sister club.
Right.
And we talked off camera about the body.
Yeah, so we looked at these clubs, and if you look at all the stats we've got here and stuff, they look very similar other than 2 degrees different loft. And it's a little misleading because one of the things we don't show in the robot is it's definitely not the same club. No. The sole on this Max is much wider, so much better for somebody who hits down on it really hard, outside in, down. And also the other thing is it's a lot more offset.
Yeah. And
because the way we set the robot up is we're setting it up to go square at impact, we're kind of negating the effect of the offset. What offset does is if the ball is here and it's coming into the club, the later it comes in the club, the more chance the club has to get closed. So we're negating that by making sure they're both square.
Yeah.
But it's definitely going to be more draw biased for sure. And you don't really see that in the robot test.
No. Much thicker top line, much thicker sole, bigger body. This is a confidence inspiring. I think it's Max because it's the maximum you can do.
Yeah, it's the most forgiving club you can get.
Yeah.
And if you basically hit down on it a lot and high handicap, this is going to fix a lot of problems.
So then we go to this one that we got in the robot right now with those 2 degree lower loft.
And this one actually looks pretty decent for an oversized club. It's kind of game improvement.
It's game improvement for sure, right?
But as a game improvement club, it's pretty traditional looking.
Pretty good. So we got 97 ball speed. So we did get a little stronger ball speed just purely because of loft.
Yep.
We traded off that 600 RPMs, 500, 600 RPMs of backspin.
Right.
It's a lot. And then we got 4 yards for it. So it's half a club different and launched about a degree lower. So I always find this is weird for me. I've got speed, but there's a lot of people out there that don't. It's like I'm a massive fan when I'm fitting people of like spin, 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 get the ball up in the air, get it stopping, get it controlled. I'd rather know that it goes here and this is your fault left and right, rather than I can get it to go another 10 yards.
But if I miss it, it's way shorter.
Right. So really interesting. We tested these at 80 miles an hour too. Let's just run over the 80 mile an hour data real quick. It's basically a mirror copy of what we've seen, the 70 just pushed up the chart.
Right.
And we get 169 carry out of the normal DynaPwr. And
80 miles an hour is pretty damn long.
Yeah, 170 carry out. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a lot.
And then the Max, it pulls it back about half a club. And we're going to show you the dispersion chart at the end because we actually charted the Staff and the DynaPwr on the same graphs so you can understand everything. So they're game improvement. We've got the absolute need every bit of help you can with draw bias.
Yep.
We've got the distance club. Now we go into a completely different world.
Right, yeah.
This is the Staff blade. These are like the diehard Wilson fans.
Hey, I played Wilson Staff irons a million years ago.
Okay, and there's some callbacks, right? We've got this feathering around the ferrule.
Yep, Maryland, yeah.
Then we've got what looks to be a bore through. We know it's not a bore through these days, but they've kept these real traditional looks. I mean, polished them, pretty looking irons.
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty good size for a blade.
From heel to toe, you're talking
heel to toe, yeah.
Yep.
It's not small by any means. It's not scary looking.
No.
And the top line obviously changes. The the blade's obviously a thinner top line.
Yep.
It's also a thinner sole, right?
Yes, yeah.
So all around. But other than that, you can certainly blend these things.
Yeah.
I mean, they're certainly designed for that. Obviously, the thicker sole with the cavity back is a little easier to get in the air. It's a lower center of gravity. Kind of shows a little bit up because it lost a little bit of ball speed due to that as well.
Yeah.
But height on your long irons is way more important for distance than a little bit more loft and ball speed. So yeah, they're both kind of classic looking clubs.
Really good looking clubs. The other thing is offset. I think we looked down at these together.
Yeah, there's no offset in these
Nothing
things.
on them. And people really like that. I mean, I like that as a blade player, not seeing much on it.
Yeah,
not for everyone.
I'm a little scared of that in the long irons.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, you can bend the long iron stronger, which I do all the time, and then add some offsets. So it kind of counters that a little bit.
So let's put the blade in at 90 miles an hour, because that's totally who it's aimed at.
Yep.
And then we'll put the CB in and do the same.
Okay.
125.
That nut straight.
Yeah, 5,200, 52 and a half. 187 carry. It's really nice. That's long.
That's pretty long, yeah, for 90 miles an hour on a blade.
Wow. That was nice. I mean, it's great, great ball speed. And spins a touch low there, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So now let's put in the CB. So all of the things that you said about the body, let's see if that changes anything, because the lofts are identical.
Yeah, the lofts are identical, but we got a little bit wider sole, right? So a little lower CG.
Thicker top line and maybe a tiny bit different offset.
Offset looks like zero of both of them to me. It certainly looks like there's something that can be blended, right?
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Okay. A little lower ball speed, a little more spin.
Slight bit open face.
Yeah, a tiny bit higher launch. Okay. First things first, let's have a look at the chart. So we're going to look at the flights. Remember, we're not looking at the same speed here. We're looking at DynaPwr at 70 and Staff at 80. Okay, so I mean, that tells a story down the bottom there with the DynaPwr. You can see that little bit of distance, but the lower flight.
Right.
And then we also see the Staff blade go, sorry, where do we start? Yeah. So we see the Staff blade going a little longer. The trajectory washes out kind of about the same at 90 miles an hour there. Just get a little more distance. It transferred a bit more energy, and maybe the face was open.
But as you get into the longer irons, obviously, a little more height actually might give you more distance than the other one.
Yeah,
right?
True.
More carry.
So when you've got some numbers on the Staff at the 80 mile an hour test, which is a lot of golfers.
Yeah. Pretty similar, right? So lofts are the same, 34. These are definitely designed to be blended.
Yep.
There's no question about that. Line goes obviously the same. Ball speed, you got a tiny bit more ball speed out of the blade. Center of mass is closer. It makes some sense. It's not a lot of difference. And you get the cavity back one, obviously launches a touch higher.
Yeah.
Again, when you do the cavity back, it's slightly lower CG, gives you a little more launch angle, which you're seeing in the next row here. You got about half a degree more launch out of it, even though the lofts are the same, everything else is the same. It's a CG location, being a little lower. And a little more spin, 200-300 RPMs more spin out of the other one. So yeah, I mean, really, if you look at how these would blend, it really makes some sense, right? So you got a little more lower, more penetrating, shorter irons, and a little help with more spin and stopping power in the long irons.
Yeah.
So for a lot of reasons, it does make sense to blend them all. You could play all one or the other, but it's certainly designed that way. As far as distance goes, I mean, you had a yard or two with a blade.
Yeah.
Little more, solid impact, obviously, and that's really about it. The distance drop-off's pretty much identical both places. You can tell here, which is really interesting, and you don't see this much, the heel is really good in these clubs.
Okay, well, let's touch on that. That's the secret to the Wilson irons, is the heel shot.
Yep.
And we're going to expose it here in the graph. So hopefully this is a good test already. We've done 70 mile an hour in the DynaPwr line, 90 mile an hour in the Staff model, two completely separate ends of the spectrum of players. We've got everywhere from, getting into the game through to tour player. And Wilson's got a cult following. They've got some great price point options here. They've got some callbacks and some really pretty stuff. But we've also got some performance. And the heel shot, like you just said, essentially we hit an 80 mile an hour test and we do half-inch heel and half-inch toe. And when you hit the blades half-inch out the heel, it's actually the center of the golf club.
Yeah, the CG is obviously with these clubs because you can tell how consistent they are and slightly in the heel.
That's the yellow grouping.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really tight circles. So the CG's, towards the heel a little bit, which is like, traditional blades. If you look at like tour players I worked with, 20 years ago, really good guys, small dime in the middle of a golf club, it's usually
Towards the heel.
Towards the heel a little bit because that's where the sweet spot is in a blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the secret to the Wilson Staff models. And you can see here, we got like the absolute precision tool there in the Staff blade, really, really tight left to right. Actually does a decent job for a blade in the toe shot. It doesn't even drop out that badly. The CB is a little different, like you said, blendable, same kind of thing, just a tiny bit shorter because we saw that energy down. And then we move over to the different storyline, the Max and the DynaPwr. We got crazy distance. The Max is actually really consistent from the center. The DynaPwr, where you gain that distance, you also trade off a little.
Well, anytime you go further out, obviously circles get wider and further out.
Yeah.
The other thing that we don't show in here, and this is a pretty significant difference between the two, in the robot data, we don't see a lot there, but like I said, we negate the offset and it's a lot more offset. So basically, the more offset, the later the hit is, so the club's got more time to close.
Yeah.
It helps fix the slice. And the sole width is much wider on the Max.
We see none of that with the T.
Yeah, and none of that's getting affected by, obviously, the robot, the way we're swinging it here. So they are very different golf clubs, although here they look more similar.
Yeah. Well, we hope that gave you some clarity on when you are in a worldwide golf retail location on which Wilson irons to take a look at. We always encourage getting a fit in. You can do that at your worldwide golf retail location. Head to worldwidegolf.com to look at your Wilson irons, get an idea of where you're going, check this video out, send it to your friends, but book a fit in. These are two different ends of the world, and you need to make sure that you get some guidance on which one's right for you.
Yeah.
Get in the comments, tell us which one you're playing, the success, what you like, what you don't like. Any feedback on the video, we love to hear it. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.